go.
Hello, and welcome to Rematched. Today I'm going to be reviewing Unmatched Jurassic Park. I've had this for a bit now. I know it's been a while, and so I've wanted to get a review out on this. This is going to be a quick review. This is going to be a casual review. If you are unfamiliar with how to play Unmatched, this is not the place to learn. In this video, I'm just going to be going over how this set stacks up against the other sets in the Unmatched series, and give you a brief overview of the two characters, InGen versus the Raptors, or the two decks, if you will, in this set, and tell you what I think about them. This, like the other Unmatched sets, is published by Restoration Games and Mondo Games, and this is using the license owned by Universal for Jurassic Park. And so in this set, you're going to get two decks, two new characters. You're going to get InGen with Robert Muldoon as your hero, and the InGen workers as your sidekick, and then the Raptors, who have no sidekick. Starting off with the board, it is one-sided. The back of this board just has a nice little picture of the raptor paddock indicated right there on Island Nublar, I believe it is. I should have actually researched that before I did this, but that's all right. Over here, you're going to have this forest area. And over here, you're going to have the actual paddock itself. This map has a special feature, one-way arrows. That means you can only go that way, you can't go the other way. And so it has this little pin where you're trying to move around and not wanting to go in there, and then sometimes being forced to go in there and then having to go out right through here, the only exit. One more note, you can attack from there, you just cannot move on the opposite direction of the arrows. Some other notable features right here, I want to highlight this little watchtower. I was instantly intrigued by that. There's another sort of watchtowery area with 3 zones right there, but it's not as thematic as that little tower up there. It's a nice place for Muldoon or the InGen workers who are ranged. They can camp up there and they can hit all this area. It's pretty crazy. Here we have our miniatures and I guess character tokens. Here we have Muldoon, and we're not going to talk about his lack of hat here. But you can see these characters actually have this little design, little like poking out. I don't know how to describe it, but it has detailed. It's a more detailed little base. The standard characters in Battle of Legends, as well as Robin Hood vs. Bigfoot, do not have that amount of detail. Along with this detail here, you can see the Raptors. It's especially important with, as on their health dials, they are distinguished by their poses, as well as what's on the bottom. For instance, this one has little tire treads. The miniatures, of course, are spectacular as always. I'll get you another close view if it would focus on one of these raptors here. Real nice. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Unmatched makes some of the best miniatures in ever. And last thing of note, all these InGen workers are all unique, all different. They are not the same. Unlike Robin Hood's sidekicks or the Harpies, all unique. I'm only going to use a third of the board to show my examples of how the characters work, but that's really all you need. Muldoon is going to have 14 health. All of his InGen workers are going to have 1. Him and all of his InGen workers are ranged. That is a big distinction. And they have a movement of 3. So you'd think Muldoon is pretty overpowered because he also, at the start of his turn, may place a trap somewhere in his zone. One trap somewhere in his zone sits there. He cannot place it under opposing fighters. But that means he moves on it, nothing happens. Opposing fighter moves on it. Trap is removed from the game, placed back in the box. And then this fighter is going to take 1 damage And then Muldoon is going to get to draw a card. Now you may have noticed, actually I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably are familiar with these characters, at least a little bit. All three Raptors have separate health dials. That means, unlike other heroes, you can take one of them out. You're still in the game with two other Raptors. They're really going to be a reverse Sinbad in my mind, where Sinbad is slowly powering up throughout the game. The Raptors are really going to be deadly in the beginning of the game, and they're going to slowly be dwindled down, but that doesn't mean they aren't fun. The Raptors also have 3 move, which is very fitting. They should be fast. And per their special ability, they add 1 to the value of their attack cards for each of the Raptors adjacent to the defender. So, like I have right now, when they're surrounding, this guy plays an attack. Because he is adjacent to the defender, it's going to be +1. And so, like in the movies, they're going to be surrounding them. Very cool. To highlight some of the characters and how they work, I'm going to highlight 4 cards from each of them. Muldoon, they should all be destroyed. You're going to get a lot of these types of ones that utilize the traps. That's what I want to highlight. That's his main thing. This one you get +1 for each trap adjacent. So in this case, trap adjacent to this guy. He's attacking him. It's going to be +1. There's also other times when you can use the traps in unique ways, like rending shot. You're going to be able to move the fighter after combat. And so if you have a trap there, bam, you hit them, and then you can just move them onto a trap, doing additional damage. Also want to mention, when you move through a trap, you can't keep moving. So if a trap's over here, I can't hop over it and then take the damage. You will immediately stop. Another example of this, leap away. If you win the combat, you can move one of the fighters, again, moving them into traps. And then finally, remote detonation, where you can utilize your InGen workers in the same zone. They're going to remotely detonate it and deal 1 damage to each of the opposing fighters that are adjacent to that trap. So again, if he's over here, doesn't even need to step in it, he can detonate it. So a lot of interesting stuff you can do with Muldoon and his traps. Muldoon in general also plays where you're going to be really trying to have all your guys kind of around you and protecting you, and the traps there, and you're side of trying to move around. I've had one of the games I played as Muldoon where the Raptors just completely, like, I was winning and then just boom, in 1 turn, and I'll go over how that can happen in a second. In 1 turn, they just like knocked out half my health. And so for the rest of the game, I was kind of retreating back, but it's very interesting to plan out with Muldoon how you're going to be moving around these traps to position and escape these 3 Raptors that are all trying to surround you. Very fun. To highlight the Raptors, they are going to have cards like this, Decoy. You immediately choose one of the other Raptors and then you just place them adjacent to the opposing fighter. And so, he's over here. In this case, it's a bad example because they're both adjacent, but then you could place them adjacent. A lot of cool stuff where you can, again, weaponizing their special ability, get them to surround it. This is another one. You can place each of the Raptors in another one's zone. And so they're always staying together and trying to outmaneuver their opponent. Another thing they have that is not unique to them, but this is the first time I've seen it, is they remember, and not specifically this card, but gain 1 action. This idea that you're gaining actions, I know Bruce Lee has it as well, but I do not have Bruce Lee. And then to highlight this, again, this is a combination. If one of more of your opposing fighters is adjacent, again, highlighting that adjacent thing, you gain 1 action. And so you can have these cool things where you are pinning these action cards together, and so you can have a turn where you attack your opponent like 4 times in a row and just be absolutely vicious. The Raptors do seem like you're either going to kind of win quick or lose quick in some scenarios. I would think against other combatants. I have not yet tried them outside of this set. Muldoon is definitely more slow strategic, so that balances the set out. With these very fast-paced Raptors, you kind of got to play. You got to be a clever Raptor. But anyways, I'm trying to keep this review short. I really am. I do really like this set. I have Battle of Legends Volume 2, as well as Robin Hood vs. Bigfoot, and I think this is my favorite out of the 3 of them. Now this set, this set is newer, obviously, because I just got it. And as well, it is Jurassic Park theme. I do like Jurassic Park. That does help it. I love thematic stuff. And this is amazing theme. It feels straight out of the movie. And I think that is just truly wonderful, and it is really so much fun. These new characters, if I have to rank them, just the two of them isolated, I am going to say I like Muldoon a little better. And I knew that going in. I knew I was going to like Muldoon better. I like placing the traps and moving them around. I like that plotting. And it is very scary. Again, Unmatched does this amazing. When you're playing as Muldoon and the Raptors are coming, and then they have, all of a sudden, there's only one Raptor, and then boom, oh, they just called another one. Now they're there. And boom, now they have multiple actions. It is scary to face them. And again, with the Raptors, it is scary to face Muldoon with all these traps and you're trying to work around it. And a lot of times you're like, I got to get over there. And so you just take the hit on the trap. So Unmatched is really good at making you feel like you're outmatched, like you're the underdog. And that is especially good in this set. So I think that is going to wrap up this review. If you did happen to enjoy this review, I have plenty of other Unmatched content here. I'll put a little, whatever the I is called up there, you can go check out. I have a playlist, all Unmatched stuff. Go check it out. As well as if you want more Unmatched content, what you can do is feel free to subscribe, and you'll get more content like this, as well as more board game content. Also, feel free to leave a like, or actually a comment is always appreciated. Tell me what you thought of the video. That'll help me out a lot. But as always, I do really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. And please have a fantastic day.